So, boys, welcome to a once in a lifetime opportunity to see me, the Wing Bro, in the kitchen of all places. I'm just on a little break. Oh my goodness, what's going on here with the. I'm just on a little break. So, I thought, right, I'm going to have lunch and do a live at the same time. So, you get to see me working my magic in the kitchen. And by magic, I mean 2 eggs. There we go, that's my lunch. So, the title of today's live is a realistic approach to improving your options for men in your 30s and 40s. A realistic approach to this. So, you've got me. Thank you, mate. Thank you. So yeah, because I'm coming in every day, obviously I've got a lot of other things going on. So, as we all do, so in order to make this happen and to fulfill my promise of the daily live, today I've got to come in from the kitchen, but that's all right. So yeah, so realistic approach for you guys. And I will keep it absolutely no bullshit. So I think a lot of guys who come into the space of daytime approach, well, there's a variety of guys who come in. Obviously, people are coming in because they've got some pain. They're not happy with where they are. That's why we all look on the internet. Can I do better? Or if you're doing terribly, can I just get something? Can I get some points on the board? But there are a lot of guys who come in who they really lack on almost every account. And it's mostly a knowledge gap. So they lack on understanding the feminine, understanding male-female dynamics. They maybe lack fashion sense. They lack being presentable, being physically presentable. So that means things like grooming doing what you can. I mean, I don't have much to groom, so I just shave it, keep the beard looking all right. That's me done. It's probably my better thing is the gym, a bit of a gym body going on. So I look presentable to the girls. So presentability is important as well. And hygiene, those types of things. How are you coming across? Do you come across as a wet blanket? Women find that disgusting and repulsive on a biological level because there's an alarm bell there that their offspring. It's like if a cruel woman, like an unpleasant, cruel woman, to us as a man is a real red flag. And because our offspring basically would struggle to survive with such a woman. And on the female part, it's not so much. Cruelty is not like. It's not as bad from a woman's point of view as it is from a man's point of view. They're still not looking for a cruel guy, so to speak, but it's more strength. It's more strength of character more than anything else. A little bit of a backbone, some leadership qualities, some qualities that mean her children are going to be protected. Ultimately, the reason we come together as men and women, we think it's because we want this, that, and the other. The real reason is children. We don't we don't think about that very often. But that is the real biological reason. Emotional, a wet blanket is weak, soft, too effeminate. Having some emotions is actually good. I'm going to come on to that in a moment. Needy is also not good as well. Needy is also not good, especially at the start. If you're needy at the start, almost every girl is going to give you a red card. Yeah, and guys don't know this because of the brainwashing, because of liberalism, because of all the media. We just want a soft, sensitive guy. You hear all these sub stories of women being mistreated and stuff in the press and all these different things. PK and Shakira, goodness knows how many other people, right? And it all sort of like adds up to you should treat women and be nice and everything like that. There's an element of that that's just they want to be treated well. But if you are not strong, if the woman doesn't respect you, how nice you are to her makes no difference at all. It's respect. It's respect fundamentally. That's the number one thing. Respect is the number one thing, which means confidence, assertiveness, competence, social confidence, and that should translate into your approaches, but not just your approaches. Your approaches are just an outflow of what you already are. Your approaches are an outflow of what you already are. So a lot of guys need to level themselves up across the board. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. You may need to level yourself up across the board in order to be effective in this new phase you're coming into in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, improving yourself with dating. You may have to level yourself up across the whole board. In terms of actual strategy as well, I advocate a broad spectrum approach, as I've said, using cold approach as a driver of your development, but also as a kind of marker of where you are as well, a marker of where you are. So, for example, for me, there was a great marker I had this year in North Macedonia. 3 years ago, I was in Macedonia, and I tried some approaches, which I'm actually quite proud of in retrospect, and they didn't stick. They didn't really go anywhere, and I certainly didn't get any numbers. This year, I was already experienced at that point, but daytime is a different kettle of fish, really. It's much more naked. And I didn't get any numbers. And I went back this year, and on my first outing, I think I did 5 or 6 approaches. Definitely closed at least 2 women on that first outing. I very vividly remember one close, which was just a fast, rapid close. Beautiful German girl in the mall. And even close some Macedonian girls as well, which is no mean feat. It's Slavic, reserved, and so on. And that's my first day out. I thought, right, good. The benchmark from a few years ago is now raised. I'm here now. Excellent news. And so that's why I say your cold approach is it's a measure of where you are. So you use it as a driver and use a measure of where you are, and you get leads from it, and you get dates from it, you get girlfriends from it. But let's also use other formats as well. So social circle, developing your social circle, being proactive socially. Just going out to do approach is not enough. You need to develop something socially. You have to. It's not an optional extra. So you need to have a kingdom. There's guys who I come into contact with, they're gym guys, so they need to develop their kingdom in the gym. Other guys are more high-flying, big spender type guys. They develop their kingdom in maybe a social kind of club, that type of thing. My kingdom is really on the dance side. I'm a good dancer, so that's a good kingdom for me to tap into. Develop your kingdom, yeah, and that's your kind of just a social. It's a social arena in which you've got genuine value, because for whatever reason you can have multiple kingdoms as well. You don't just have to have one. So developing a social life, right? Practicing your social skills in general when you're going around the world, when you're going from place to place. Get yourself a local cafe that you go to. Go to the same cafe 3 times a week. Chat to the staff. Get yourself a local bar that you go to. Go to the same bar every couple of weeks. Chat to the staff. Then you build up some familiarity. You build up some value there. So when you actually take your date over to the cafe, or you take your date over to the bar, you look good. Hello, Mr. Mohid. How are you today, sir? Nice to see you. Oh, this is lovely. Blah, blah, blah. So you've got value there. So social life as well as cold approach, right? Absolutely essential. The stuff I talked about before, physical presentation, okay? Physical presentation. Your psychology. Do you feel positive about yourself? Do you feel confident about yourself? So we're developing all these areas. By the way, these are things you should do anyway, independent of women. So this is all good for you anyway. It's not like you're doing this as a sacrifice. This is all good for you anyway. There's obvious things like your professional life. You need to have some kind of an income. You need to have some kind of money coming in. So we need to also be working on that. That's obvious, right? That's a given. Full spectrum approach. And also now, something I'm experimenting with is incorporating social media into my approach on the back end as well. So after I've done my good, confident, cold approach, then I come in on the back end with a better Instagram profile. Follow me at Joe Blake Lisbon. You'll see the experiment I'm running because I'm going to be updating my photos this year. So I think one of the issues with cold approach is, and this is not a reflection on any guy who does it, one of the issues is that there just is not much of there's not enough context for you as a guy sometimes. So whilst you may make a great impression in that very moment, if your approach is really solid and you're well presented, that may not be enough for some girls. It will be enough for some, but it won't be enough for others. And I do wonder if the very top tier girls, as good as your approach is, let's say she's a model or what have you, as good as your approach is, I'm just filling this water here. As good as your approach may be, it's actually not going to be enough to get her through this is what we use for drinking water here. It's not going to be enough to get her through the door. So it's not going to be enough to get her on a date with you. So rather than resist, I kind of resisted Instagram because it's just kind of, I think it's pretty obvious why you would resist it. Let's move this a little bit. So I kind of resisted it, but I just realized, look, let's not ask so much of the girls and let's just use it as a tool. So I'm still getting WhatsApp closes, but some closes I'm doing now on Instagram, and I'm just going to experiment with it and I'm going to improve. So when you look at the arsenal that I'm coming out with now, look good physique, great approach, self-confident, great interesting life, building social circle, good dancer, fundamentally understands male-female dynamics and is able to apply that, and now building in some social media, which is kind of missing link, it's only going to, it's already fantastic. My dating life is already great, but it's only going to get better. But if you can imagine for yourself, if you were hitting your life on all of these different angles, realistically, you're going to make improvements. You're going to become more attractive. And there's still stuff I see like, I can improve on even beyond that as well. But for the time being, there's only so much we can take on at once. I see what you're saying, Mahid. That's a really good point. Is staying off social media a major red flag in this day and age? You were on, but you got addicted and you got off. This is why I wasn't really on, and other things as well. There are obvious downsides to social media. That's absolutely obvious. I understand your mentality, and I think it obviously has many negative aspects to it. I would say if you're going to use it, just use Instagram and just use it as purely a tool. Get six to 10 respectable photos, decent photos that are an asset to you, where you look decent. Maybe some of you doing some of your fun activities, maybe some of you with a friend, maybe some of you with a girl. Just some basic stuff so that you've got a landing page that is an asset. That's the first thing you need to do. There are a couple of other things as well. As a friend of mine gave me some really useful tips. I won't go into it all here. There's not that much, but there's a couple of other things as well. But you just have Instagram purely as a landing page, and you can communicate with the girl, and then with some communication, then just get her onto WhatsApp. So that is an option. I wouldn't say it's a major red flag though. It's not a major red flag. It's a choice at the end of the day. If you don't want to be on Instagram, I fully understand why. If you don't want to be on social media, I fully understand why. It's a choice. And you would actually explain that in your approach. Just say, yeah, I'm not really into it. I got addicted to it, so I don't have it. And then just go for the WhatsApp. There are other vectors though. Social circle. This is another vector as well. It's not just, if you're just waiting for daytime approach for your princess to come in, I would say you're going to be putting too much stress and emphasis on the approaches themselves. And even nighttime as well. Just start experimenting with different things. And the more you build yourself up, the better. So all of these things feed into your approach. So that is a realistic full spectrum approach. And I'm even looking at stuff like, I'm getting vain now. I'm coming on the internet a lot. I'm like, I could get my teeth bleached. I drink a lot of coffee. I broke my nose a few times when I was younger, so I could get that fixed. To be honest, it doesn't make that much difference, quite honestly. It makes less difference than you think. It's depending on the culture and country, especially in Latin America and like the Balkans and stuff, it's more about your persona. It's more about your confidence. But there is obviously like, yeah, the looks maxing stuff, there's obviously things you can do. And why not? Why not do it? Why not? But just understand it's not your biggest leverage point. It's not your biggest leverage point. Your biggest leverage point, I would say, is your biggest leverage point, self-concept, self-confidence, skill of approach, and dress. Those would be your biggest leverage points. I would actually get those sorted first. Physique and stuff like that. I'll show you my beautiful rippling physique. This is what I've been building since Brazil. Look at that. Get the biceps getting there. But I'm basically a slim guy with a little bit of muscle, right? That is basically my look. And that's more than good enough, man. I get loads of compliments for my physique from girls. And I'm not some jack. I'm 40 years old. I'm not some jacked 20-year-old on gear. I get tons of compliments because it's part of a broader package. It's part of a broader package. If you're just like fairly slim like me, the girls will be like, oh yeah, he's got a six pack. You know, in their worlds, that's what it is. So I do think resistance training though is good. It's good for confidence, especially if you're older as well. You know, I'm 40. I regularly get comments of girls saying like, honestly, like even shocks me sometimes how young they think I am. I've had 28 like a few times last week. So definitely the physical training is part of that. But yeah, I think especially in Europe, man, clothing is so important. Sort your clothes out, guys. Sort your clothes out. Said this on different lives, you know, just copy somebody who you know looks good. I used to go to Kazumba, and if I saw a guy who had a really cool style and he had something I liked, I'd just make a mental note of it. And then if I saw something myself, I started wearing bracelets for a while because a lot of the cool guys were wearing bracelets. God, my flat is looking like a bit of a shit tip in here, isn't it really? I started wearing bracelets for a while because I saw a lot of the cool guys. Oh my God. I can't make myself look good on this live, so fuck it. Yeah, you see my bottle of water down there, 20-gallon bottle of water. That crap over there, my laptops. Just, yeah. I've got a cleaner anyway. She sorts my life out every Saturday, so she's coming in a few days. So yeah, the guys at Kizomba who had really cool style, I'd often just copy them. At some point, I started wearing bracelets. All these like, you know, I was a bit ahead of the curve. Now everyone wears bracelets, but I was wearing them like about close to 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I actually think it originally came from the dance scene. I actually do, because I remember guys on the scene wearing them like 2014, 2015, long time ago. Now it's kind of the norm, right? You know, it's kind of cool men having these cool leather bracelets and chains and stuff like that. But I saw some guys doing it. I thought, yeah, I like that. Let me go to town on it, which I did. I became known for my excessive use of bracelets. Fucking hell. Going around like a gypsy. But yeah, my point is, copy someone else's style who's known for looking good. Copy someone else's style. It's all right saying just go out in what makes you feel good, but if you feel good in a fucking tracksuit, I would say at least initially, let's make our lives a little bit easier. Once your approach is flying and you kind of you're super confident, you know you've had loads of positive reference experiences, then you actually can just go out looking like shit. If your confidence is high enough, it doesn't make any fucking difference. But I just think, especially for beginners, let's just look decent. Like, let's make an effort. This is great for retention. Me just stuffing my face. Anything else realistically? Yeah, there's another thing I want to say realistically. Depending on how old you look, if you're in your 30s, I just don't even think you should be getting age objections. I think it's fucking weird. Some guys do, but it's like, you know, really woke, stupid places like Belgium where Balthus is at. if you're in your 30s, you're a young man. If you're in your 20s, you're basically a teenager. A 20-year-old, even a 25-year-old, to me, honestly, is a teenager. My mum used to say this when we were younger. We were like, "Oh, I can't wait to be an adult," and she was like, "You're a kid until you're 25. You're not an adult. You're a teenager." I remember her saying that, and I thought, interesting. She didn't think adult men became adults until they were at least 25, and even then, that's young. Um, yeah. So if you're in your 30s, you're basically a newborn. When you hit 30 as a guy, you're a newborn. You're a newborn man. That's when your life starts. So if you're in your 20s now, Mahid, work everything I'm talking about now, your physique, your financials, your style, your social confidence, your sexual experience, your understanding of male female dynamic, your social world, sort that out now. Sort that out. Just rewatch this afterwards and list all of that stuff and just tick as many of those things off this year as you can in 2026. Sort that out now, and you will start to make real progress in your late 20s. My progress from 27 to 30 was absolutely astronomical. It's the most I've progressed in my entire life. 27 to 30 in my social and relationships. I basically went from had experiences like long-term relationships and stuff, but I would say slightly undercooked because I've been focused on other things, to by 30 being the guy that people would look at as the player, basically. Not everyone would see me like that, but a lot of people would. There was a cafe I used to go to in Sheffield called Remo's, and I used to take my dates there. The manager was an old Italian guy, and he fucking loved me. He'd be like, "Oh mate, every time I see you, you've got a new date. Where are you finding all these girls?" He absolutely loved it. Right, so, but that was 27 to 30, that period there, and I was just bang, 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 bang. Learned to dance really well in that period. Socialized a lot, and I mean, your body's pumping with testosterone, so you can keep a good physique on a fairly minimal amount of workouts in that time period. My career was going all right; it was okay, but I didn't really care. I honestly cared more about sorting the other stuff out because I just felt like if I don't, I'm going to end up now at 40 having a midlife crisis, as opposed to where I actually am, which is I'm happy. I've had great 20s, I had great 30s. I'm good. I'm looking, put a fork in me, I'm done. I'm looking forward to my 40s. So bad habits such as porn. Just stop watching porn. I've got some dirty things I do though, mate. To be honest, I've got a really sick habit of I will just like I'll research ahead of countries that I go to, and I will I will occasionally watch like a porno. If I'm going to like Colombia or something, I'll be like, "Is there any pornos from Colombia? Let's see what they're saying." So you don't have to be a fucking Mr. Perfect SWAT. All this fucking no fat bullshit. Like, I honestly have found I've done no fat this last 6 weeks, right? I have had a few lapses. No, I've done it for about 2 months now. I've had a couple of lapses, but honestly, if I'd done no fat when I was 20, I think I'd have gone to prison because I'm like nearly full. I'm 40, and I'm like, dude, my testosterone. I'm raging. I'm ready to headbutt someone when I'm walking out into the fucking street. This is not normal. So I think it's overcooked. I wouldn't worry too much about that. You know, if you're knocking one out every fucking 2 minutes, but if it's like, what's a reasonable thing? Like, surely once a week is enough. Surely you don't need to be fapping more than that. It's just like to get it out of your system. But these guys who think you're going to start floating on water, I guarantee all these no fap guys online, I guarantee if I go on a session with them and I've just knocked one out, which I've actually done this, by the way, is a confession. At some point over the last 2-3 years, I've either had sex or knocked one out before a session. Made no fucking difference at all. I just go out, it's like, bang, I'm in. It doesn't honestly for me, it doesn't make that much difference. But it's more for other aspects of your life. I think it's good. It's a good training. It's a good discipline. But I wouldn't fucking worry too much about that, man. It's this weird new religion people just love. people are lost. They don't have a fucking clue what they're doing in life, and they just pick a direction and go, right, let's get obsessed with this. I mean, fair play. That's a good thing to do. So, well, it doesn't make that much difference. Traveling, staying in shape. You can do calisthenics, which is what I used to do. Now I just pay to go to the gym twice a week. That's it. I've got in better shape now because I've been paying to go to a gym. You can't really put on too much muscle with calisthenics, but I've got a little bit more muscle on me now because I'm actually lifting weights. And at 40, if you don't lift, you will decay. So it's like you can actually progress in your 40s, by the way. So that's something you can all look forward to that. Your 30s and 40s, you can get stronger and stronger and stronger. When you hit 50, then it does start to drop off, but that means I've got 10 years of getting stronger. So anything else realistically? Yeah, the next thing I wanted to say is, I was talking about age objections. If you're in your 30s, it's ridiculous in my opinion to get age objections, but okay, they will come up. Just realize most normal women over 23, unless they're completely brainwashed and stupid, they're not going to care. So just find a normal woman. That might mean you can't date a girl from country XYZ. Okay, fine. But I found even in the UK, I found loads of like white UK girls who, when I was in my late 30s, were excited to meet me. Usually I'd be hitting on their friend who is not white from the UK. But it was interesting. A lot of times the UK girls responded really well. So I don't think it's a major thing. And I would just say realize, like, let's say if you're 50, there may be a lot of 20-year-olds who are not going to go for you. Your pyramid might be, if a 28-year-old can get practically all of them, a 50-year-old, there will still be some. There may still be 20% who would date you, provided you were the right 50-year-old. Yeah? Or it might be 5%, or it might be 10%, but there will be a percentage there. So just realize that's the percentage game you're playing. And there's lots of girls who are looking for older men as well. So just have that expectation. It may not be 100% of the girls. Okay, so fucking what? You don't need 100%. You need one. You only need one. And the older you are as well, the less you need. Because you just can't be asked. You've got other things to do. You know, you've got a lot of responsibilities as you get older. So, yeah, if you're 50 years old, you might have to do 20 sets just to find 2 or 3 girls who would be interested in even possibly dating a 50-year-old. And then they would have to go well. So you might have to do 200 sets to get that one girl where the chemistry is beautiful and she's actually 26 years old. She'd be interested. So it's just, that's a great point about being out of the house. Yeah. You're not jerking off when you're, that's actually a good point. When you're out all the time and you're at social things all the time, it doesn't really even occur to you to jerk off. It's when you're home alone. I don't think it's that abnormal, to be honest. You're home alone, you're fucking bored, you're stressed out, you want to go to sleep. You might not have had sex for a while. So I would say if you're using it as a tool, like I remember when I was sitting my final exams and I did not want to have sex. I didn't want to be around. I didn't want to meet women because anything that would take me away from those exams for those 6 months, I think I maybe had one escapade with a woman. I was like, I've let off a bit of steam there, but really, I want to keep it to a minimum. Yeah, that was fine to knock one out during that period. Yeah, like I had other more important things. But yeah, if in day-to-day life, normal life, if you're in the house a lot, you don't have much action going on, of course you're going to be tempted into jerking off. So I think these guys are like self-torture. Go get some girls. Get out of the house. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It was Jazz. It was Sinner that told me that, and I was like, that's a fucking great point. I've not watched porn since you said that. I've not watched porn because it's like you're literally being the most beta bitch of all time. You're watching another guy fucking a girl. You're a little chimp in the corner knocking one out while you're watching another guy fucking a girl. It's ridiculously beta. And yeah, that it was such a good point. He must have made that point to me around about October. And I've not watched pornography since then. I literally haven't watched any porn. I'll never watch porn again because of that. Because it's like, yeah, dude, that's just nailed it. Just one piece of information, absolutely nailed it. So this is a good thing about the group that we're in, and just advice for other guys. Get yourself around other good men. Get yourself around other good guys. We always do best when we're around other good guys who give us useful perspectives, who, you know, Balthus, for example, he's 31 years old. So he's in his Mike Tyson phase. 30 to 32, 33 is where you just want to go out and you want to wreck fucking everything. And I remember how I was in nightlife. I remember it. I remember people coming out with me and they're like, what the fuck is this guy on? Because you just like, why not put in 50 approaches? Fuck it, who cares? I might get 10 numbers. And Balthus is in that phase now. And I'm 40. And I'm still like, if you come out with me as a civilian who's not done it before, you'll be like, fuck, dude, this guy is intense. But the younger guys have got even higher frequency than me, which is great for me because I'm like, I just like to get in, get my work done, and then chill. But I'm like, shit, these guys are keeping going. Let me do a few more, you know? So the being around other good guys just can only bring you up. It can only bring you up. And if you're around the best, you're going to become the best. You stick around the best for long enough and you apply yourself, you're going to become the best. And then this is what we found is we all just get better and better and better by working together. You're not even working together. Sometimes we do, but it's mostly just osmosis. Like this summer, I learned stuff from Balthus, he learned stuff from me, and we were both already good. This is the thing. Same with Ephraim as well. It's like we're all already good. And then you bring us together and we start even trading some notes, and it's like, shit, we can get even better. If I bring in a bit of this from Balthus, I just tweak something. If he brings a little bit of my stuff, he just tweaks something. It's like, shit. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where the information and the example is coming from. If we just see it and we can apply it, you know, it only works to your benefit. So 30s, 40s, 50s, get yourself around. You should have good people around at that phase of your life. And if you don't, work on it. And if that means joining a network, if it means getting in touch with me and applying to join the Bratva coming soon, 2026, or even joining another network, there's lots of online guys now. What's that guy called? The Short Boss, the guy who talks about being retarded all the time. Go and join his network. He seems like an absolutely sound guy. Yeah. If you're in America, get some contacts. Get some contacts there. Start building out your network by any means necessary. Yeah, Alicia Long. Yeah, great guy. Yeah, honestly, I've thought of joining that network just to see what it's like. You know, like, why not? I like the guy. He's got the spirit. That guy, if he did cold approach, would be disgusting. It would be absolutely disgusting. Well, I know he does cold approach in clubs and stuff, but if he did it like we do, he would be absolutely disgusting. Because he's got that, I just don't give a fuck. We're the guys. We're here to bully you girls. Yeah? We're going to annoy you and bully you. They fucking love that. It's catnip to them, yeah? So join his group. There's so many groups out there. There's a guy like Uber Boyo. I might join his group. That's more of a creative thing. He's a Nietzschean creator. I really like him. So there's so many groups you can just join now. That's a start. And then hopefully you've got some in real life meetups, but also work on your stuff locally as well. Is there anything else? Yeah, I would say the last thing I will say is guys who've got a fantasy of the Playboy life where girls just going to be turning up at their house, pulling their pants down every single day with no effort and no input. That's not real. You're going to have to put a lot of input in. That actually is a thing. That can actually happen. But there's a lot of input that goes into it. And I think, I don't know, I think for guys in especially 40s and 50s, I just don't think there's much value in that, to be honest. Maybe for a couple of months, maybe for a couple of weeks, but there isn't much value in it. But yeah, if you're young and you want to live that lifestyle, which I don't think a lot of young guys do actually these days, but it's definitely achievable, but you've got to be proactive. Biggie Smalls, pimping ain't easy, but it sure is fun. You've got to be very, very proactive. It's like there's a threshold. This is what I found is like pickup is the most non-linear thing of all time. Like you go from nothing, trickles to everything. That's just how it works. And if you think about female attraction, it's like for us, if a girl's hot to me, she's probably going to be hot to Balfour. She's probably going to be hot to Mahid. Like there's taste things. Sometimes people like a girl who's blonde, a black girl, whatever. But generally, like I'm in Dominican, yeah. Even if you don't like Latinas or black girls, I guarantee if I take you to the fucking Conde on a Sunday afternoon, even if you remember the Ku Klux Klan, dude, even if you're the head of ICE, yeah, you're gonna start to lose your mind a little bit, start to change your mind. It's just biology, right? So if you become attractive to one girl, very likely you're going to start to become attractive to many girls. Not everyone, but you're always going to have a niche, you have a market, but you're going to be attractive in your market, you know. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. So once you cross that threshold, all of a sudden, bang. But you've got to be aggressive, man. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to go after it. I don't think guys fully realize, and also how sexual you need to be as well. If you're going for that type of lifestyle, you used to be very comfortable with your sexuality and being very sexual. Honest Signals, what's he like? I don't really watch too many channels. I've been watching a couple of guys who are doing stuff on their Instagram profiles just to see what kind of stuff they're doing. It's funny because some of these guys, I can tell they can't actually do approach. It's weird, but I can actually tell they're not that good because it's something. I can see it in people. I can see it in people if they're actually good or not. Even if they're not like they might be on camera just on their own and they're just talking, and I'm like, this guy ain't that good. He's not that good. And that's even without seeing them in a set. Like Balthus, I could tell Balthus would be good just from speaking to him when I first met him. Siddharth Tawinna, it was obvious he was going to be good when I first met him. There's other guys who came in, I thought, yeah, that guy's going to be good straight away. I just know it. So, yeah, I've been watching a lot of the Instagram, well, not a lot, a little bit of the Instagram stuff recently. Just as long as it's an asset, that's all I really care about. It doesn't need to be my strongest suit. It can be my worst suit, but if it's better than nothing, then that's good enough. So is there anything else on this live today? Yeah, cold approach is multifaceted, guys. Attraction is multifaceted. Your profile is multifaceted. You want it to be individual to you, and you want it to be strong across many areas. And once it's strong across many areas, then you're going to have a lot of options. Yeah? If you're just a looks maxing guy with no skills at all, some of the guys I work with are honestly like looks max to the fucking gills. They've got great looks, some of these guys that I've worked with, and they just didn't have the knowledge for the approach. And so they couldn't deliver those looks. Like, what happens to the good-looking guy as he goes down the street? Maybe a couple of girls give him a glance, and he goes home. Yeah, as opposed to the average-looking guy who's well presented, but he's nothing. He's not a genetic specimen, but he goes over and he starts to make an impact on the girls. He's going to start getting some numbers. He's going to start getting some dates. He's going to start getting laid. And before you know it, he's got experience. And what experience breeds, it breeds confidence. So before you know it, he's actually gaining some confidence. It's interesting for me, cold approach has mostly been a tool for development of self-confidence, which was not my intention at all. I just wanted to, it was the last bastion that I couldn't do in the game, so to speak. I was fine with relationships. I was fine with all the back end, more than fine with that stuff. I was fine with approaching in clubs. I was fine with the dance floor. I remember days where I'd see my friends go and dance with girls, and I was just so envious and amazed by them. When I was like 18, 19, I was like, man, how the fuck did they just do that? Just grab the girl and just go and dance with her. Now I can do that. But the only thing I couldn't do confidently and repeatedly was to chat girls up in the daytime, which I can now do. So it's like, okay, game is now complete. It's complete. Now it's just a question of like, we're just having fun at this point. What extra side quests can we do? That's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's why I'm obviously starting to teach stuff on here as well. But yeah, everyone comes in for their different reasons. Yeah. Hitting the wrecking ball phase, though, that's the 30 to 33 phase. Enjoy it now, Balthus. Enjoy it now. You probably won't want to do it at 40, I suspect. So enjoy it now. I'm quite selective now, like in terms of time and stuff like that. I like to do the approaches, get the contacts, maybe have some first dates, but I like to just get rid of them quickly. There was a girl I was messaging who, I think I showed you the photo of her, Balthus, is like really ridiculous body. And she's kind of annoying me because she wasn't being that responsive this week. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's just another one. But and then I saw one of her WhatsApp stories, and she was like coming home completely smashed from a night out. It was like 4 a.m. And I was like, thank you, perfect. I can now delete you. I don't have to get like, not annoyed, but like, that leader's kind of dying. I'm like, no, now it's on me, because that to me is a complete straight red. So I was actually happy. I was like, great, I get to red card her, which she's not going to care anyway. But just like, well, yeah, like another girl I approached the other day and I had a phone call with her and I was like, she's just boring. I don't want to talk to her. It's red card. There's no point keeping her around. I don't need just to have sex with someone, you know. So the broad approach and then filtering down to the 1 or 2 or 3 who are actually really worthwhile for me at this point. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, because I just don't have time to have random escapades. I just don't. It's hard. It's hard to do them now. Doing these lives. I've got work in 15 minutes. Oh fuck me. But yeah, in your early 30s, that's the time to do it, in my opinion. And then some of the older guys, they live the slow playboy lifestyle. You know, the guys in their 50s, like Iceman, that's what he's doing. So, boys, hopefully that's been informative. If anyone comes across this live and you think, who is this nutter sat in his messy kitchen, I'm Joseph Wingbro. I'm out here living in Santo Domingo, capital of Dominican Republic, home of some of the most beautiful women on planet Earth. I will hang my hat on that. The most amazing climate, one of the most amazing historical cities, a UNESCO historical site is like 2 minutes from my door. The Caribbean Ocean is like 2 minutes from my door. And yeah, I'm just living my life out here. But I also teach daytime cold approach and advise men on dating and relationships because it's an area of life you got to get right. You got to get it right, because if you fuck that up, your life is probably fucked and you're depressed and it sucks. And it's mostly a knowledge gap. And this is actually quite, I would describe as hidden knowledge, not just the cold approach stuff, which is factually hidden because practically nobody knows how to do it. Me and Balthus have got the hidden knowledge, but most guys you can see them in field and it's like wrong, 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 wrong. You know, they just don't know what they're doing. We've developed a lot of this knowledge ourselves. So that's secret knowledge. On the back end, the relationship stuff, a lot of that is secret knowledge these days as well, because since the 1945, we've lived under this kind of regime of liberalism and equality and all this nonsense, which is not actually real. And it's really, it might be useful in a way, socially in a way, but it's really damaged people's relationships. It's really damaged men, and it's made it's damaged the whole thing. I was in the gym today. I'll finish on this, boys. If you're so anyway, just to finish off my description myself, then I'm going to finish with the story. So this is what I advise on. I'm a Nietzschean scholar as well as a cold approach guy. I do have an intellectual, should we say, profession that I work in the day. So I understand the guys who come in. They're often quite intelligent, or highly intelligent, and what I wanted to create is the guy who is the action taker and he's the thinker. Yeah, he's a scholar and he's a soldier. Scholar and the soldier. I remember reading about that when I was a kid. That's like the perfect identity for a Roman. It's the scholar and the soldier. Because if you just separate those two, you have all your fighting done by idiots and have all your thinking done by cowards. So we want to actually blend the two together. And a lot of guys that I work with, that's their profile. That's what they want to be as well. And in terms of approach, I'm getting them to be an action taker in this arena of their life. And they jump into it because that's who they are in their core anyway, but they just lack the knowledge. So even on the back end as well, I also assist people with that because, as I say, a lot of people just basics guys don't understand these days. Real basic stuff, real basic stuff. And if you're watching this, there's a good chance there's stuff that is important that you're not even aware of that's important, which I will see. And Balfour's can attest to this as well, which is there's stuff that sometimes guys, even who are good at approach, come in with, and they've got a quandary, and they don't even know a very fundamental mistake they're making because it's not out there in the culture. Guys are not learning this stuff. A lot of my learning has come through spending a lot of time in different countries, having some amazing, much older guys than me who've given me their experiences. So that's where my own learning has come from, and now I'm passing that on to others. But I'll just finish anyway. My final story today. If you're an American guy, boys, just get a passport. Get a passport. If you're an American guy, I'm in the gym today. These two American girls, and I'm just like, how is it possible for a culture to produce this? How is it even possible? They were like literal 3-year-old children. These women in their mid-20s. They were just like super loud. I mean, if you're stupid and annoying, if you're quiet, no one's going to know that. But if you're super loud, they had these Valley Girl accents. I'm just like, it's so strange. Do they not get negative feedback? There was a guy in there with them and he was just a little mouse, walking around. I'm like, they not get negative feedback. Your loud, annoying, high-pitched Valley Girl voice is piercing. Your comments are childish and stupid. Stop. Because I feel like European women, it wouldn't even need to be the men. The women would give them that feedback, or they would see it quickly. They would be excluded. I don't know how a culture has produced this. I keep trying to be broad-minded with Americans. It's very difficult, man. It's very difficult. I meet like some really good ones. I meet the top tier guys. It's difficult though, guys. You're talking what you endure as normal to any other nationality is even us as Europeans, our girls are not the best, but like they're all right. They're tolerable at least. I'm just like, man, these girls, like if that was my daughter, I would be bullying her into shape so she could be a normal human being. Absolutely fucked, dude. Absolutely fucked. Guys, get a passport. If you're American, you've got no clue what you're missing, dude. Maybe you like it. I don't know. Maybe you like living in a matriarchy of demented infant children. I don't know. What a weird country, man. What a weird culture to produce chicks like that. Nowhere else in the world has them. Nowhere. Yeah, they were behaving like in the UK. Maybe some really chavvy, low education 14-year-old girls might behave like that. Yeah, but these were like they're obviously middle class. They're traveling. They look middle class. Just like guys, Jesus Christ, what is going on, boys? Americans, guys, what are you fucking doing, boys? Um, there's a dating coach, really good dating coach from back in the day, Paul Janka. He did some badass cold approach. He was American, and his claim to fame was he thought he had the highest lay count per something like per capita or something like per unit in New York. He had like the smallest flat in Manhattan or something. He thought he had the highest lay count per square foot because he had the smallest, shittiest flat. He just absolutely had a crazy approach, crazy lay count. The guy like was good looking as well, good looking MIT graduate. Just loved fucking cold approach. He was awesome. He was honestly awesome. To this day, he would be like probably ahead of anyone in my opinion. He was the one guy from back in the RSD days who he was nothing to do with them, but he was another guy doing content. He was fucking awesome, and it was like proper infields as well. But he retired. He retired, and he got married to an English girl. He got married to an English girl. I think he still does some teaching, like with a few people and stuff, but he's basically retired from it all. It's interesting that he married an English girl, had all those Americans, and he married an English girl. So, yeah, I'm not the most patriotic when it comes to the women of the UK, but fuck me. Paul definitely did the right thing there. If he wanted an Anglophone girl, fuck me, dude. So, yes, if you're an Americano, get in touch, mate. Get in touch. Let's sort it out. We need to sort out your genetic lineage. Yeah, we've got a friend in me and Baltus have got a friend who's he's like doing raids across Europe to find his beautiful bride. So come and join us. Right, boys, I've got to work in 5 minutes. Take it easy. I'll catch you in the next one. Joseph Wingbro, thank you for joining me with my lunch here. I hope that was useful more than anything else. Let's be realistic. Let's hit all the different dimensions that we need to hit, and that is going to get you where you need to go, boys. Take it easy. I'll catch you soon.